In the world of boxing, few matchups come with as much anticipation as the one between Terrell Gausha and Elijah Garcia. Two fighters, both hungry for success, each with their own story to tell, about to face off in what promises to be an unforgettable battle. But this isn't just about skill or talent, this is about heart. It's about the fight for respect, the quest for redemption, and the relentless pursuit of greatness that drives these men to step into the ring. As the crowd roars and the spotlight shines, one question lingers: who will emerge victorious when these two warriors clash? Terrell Gausha has built his career on patience and precision. A veteran of the ring, Gausha's experience is undeniable. He's faced some of the toughest opponents in the sport and lived to tell the tale. But there's a hunger in his eyes now, something deeper than just victory. It's the drive of a fighter who knows that time is running out. His skills have been honed over years of hard work, but is it enough to overcome the rising star that is Elijah Garcia? Garcia, on the other hand, is the embodiment of raw, youthful energy. A prodigy who's taken the boxing world by storm. His speed and power are unlike anything anyone has seen in years. At just 23, Garcia has already made a name for himself, but he's not here to just make an impression, he's here to prove that he belongs among the best. Every punch he throws is with the intent to dominate. Every move, a statement that he's ready to take the crown. But can the fire of youth stand up to the fire of experience? Is Garcia truly ready for the challenge that lies ahead? As the two fighters make their way to the ring, the tension in the air is palpable. The crowd is on edge, unsure of which way the fight will go. Will Gausha's experience and tactical approach be enough to stifle Garcia's relentless aggression? Or will Garcia's speed and power prove too much for the seasoned veteran? The stakes have never been higher, and as the bell rings, both fighters know that this is more than just another fight. It's a defining moment in their careers. The first round begins, and right away, it's clear that neither fighter is holding back. Gausha stays composed, using his defense to weather the storm, while Garcia presses forward with aggressive combinations. Each punch thrown seems to have the potential to end the fight, but both fighters remain standing, their resolve unwavering. The tension builds with each exchange, the crowd hanging on every move, every jab, every hook. There's no telling which way this will go, but one thing is certain: this is only the beginning. As the rounds progress, it becomes evident that both men have something to prove. Gausha, with his experience, works to break down Garcia's defenses, finding openings and exploiting them. But Garcia is relentless, refusing to be intimidated, his energy and youthful drive pushing him forward even when the odds seem stacked against him. With every passing minute, the intensity grows, and the line between victory and defeat becomes razor thin. But just as it seems one fighter might have the edge, something unexpected happens. A shift in momentum, a change in strategy, and suddenly, the fight is more evenly matched than ever before. With each passing round, the crowd is torn, unsure of who will emerge victorious. Both Gausha and Garcia are pushing themselves to their limits, but who will be the one to rise above and claim the title? The fight enters the later rounds, and it becomes clear that the battle isn't just physical, it's mental. Both fighters are exhausted, but neither one is willing to give up. It's no longer just about winning. It's about proving something to themselves, to the fans, and to the entire world of boxing. Each fighter has had their moments of glory, but with time running out, it's anyone's game. The question is, who has the strength to take it all the way? As the final rounds approach, the tension reaches its peak. The crowd can hardly contain their excitement, knowing that the end is near. One last push, one final effort, and one of these fighters will walk away with the victory they've fought so hard for. But who will it be? Will Gausha's experience and composure win out in the end, or will Garcia's raw power and aggression prove to be too much? The bell is about to ring, and the fight is far from over. The ultimate question remains: who will have the last word in this epic showdown? As the bell rings to signal the start of the final round, both fighters know that this is the moment that will define their careers. Who will take the victory, and who will be left wondering what could have been? The answer lies just out of reach, and only time will tell. The final round begins, and with it, an unsettling silence sweeps over the crowd. For a brief moment, both fighters seem to pause, as if time itself has slowed. The stakes have never been higher. Gausha, breathing heavily, senses that this fight is slipping away from him. Despite his years of experience, his body feels the toll of the brutal exchanges. His mind races through countless fights, each one offering a lesson he's carried with him. But now, with Garcia relentlessly pushing forward, those lessons seem distant. Garcia, on the other hand, has yet to show any sign of slowing down. The young fighter's eyes are fierce, his movements sharp, and his focus singular. He's been here before, pushing himself to the limit in the pursuit of greatness. But something is different now. Something is wrong. As Garcia steps forward with another aggressive combination, his foot falters. For a split second, it's almost imperceptible, but Gausha's sharp instincts catch it. The opening is there, an opportunity to strike, to turn the fight in his favor. But instead of going for the kill, Gausha hesitates. That momentary pause is enough for Garcia to recover, his speed and agility returning just in time. The young fighter's eyes narrow, and for the first time in the entire fight, Gausha sees the subtle shift in his opponent's demeanor. What was once pure aggression now holds an element of calculated danger. It's almost as if Garcia is playing a different game, one that Gausha can't quite understand. But then, as the two circle each other, something even more unexpected happens. A loud thud echoes through the arena, followed by a shriek of pain. The crowd's reaction is instantaneous, a mix of gasps, cheers, and confusion. For a brief moment, it's unclear who has been struck, until Garcia stumbles back, clutching his midsection. The referee immediately moves in, signaling for a break in the action. Gausha stands frozen, disbelief written all over his face. Did he land the shot? But the replay on the big screen tells a different story. Garcia hadn't been hit at all. Something had happened inside his body, something no one saw coming. In a flash, medical personnel rush into the ring, and the crowd falls into an uneasy silence. Garcia is on his knees, his face contorted in pain. The commentators are in shock, unable to make sense of what they've just witnessed. One of the fighters in the prime of his youth, who had been dominating just moments ago, is now on the ground, unable to continue. But why? What happened? Gausha stands in his corner, watching the scene unfold with a mix of confusion and frustration. He's been in enough fights to know that anything can happen in the ring, but this is something different. This is not just a physical injury. It's as if something internal has gone terribly wrong for Garcia. The referee signals to the medical team, and they begin to examine Garcia more closely. As the camera zooms in on the young fighter's face, his eyes are wide with panic. This isn't just the exhaustion of a tough fight, it's fear. His body, it seems, is betraying him. The audience, still reeling from the shock, begins to murmur among themselves. Was this just a freak accident? Could it be an injury that had been building throughout the fight, and now, at the worst possible time, it had come to a head? Or was there something else at play, something beyond the realm of normal combat sports? Behind the scenes, the tension begins to mount. Gausha, ever the professional, keeps his focus on Garcia, but his mind is racing. He's never seen anything like this. He'd always believed in the importance of pushing his body to the limits, but what had just happened to Garcia seemed beyond even that. The moment was surreal, as though the laws of the sport had been altered in an instant. As the medical staff worked to stabilize Garcia, there's a growing sense that something isn't right. The younger fighter's breathing becomes erratic, and his chest rises and falls violently. His face has turned pale, and despite all the attention he's receiving, there's a strange look in his eyes, a mix of confusion and disbelief. Is he hurt? Or is there something more sinister at play? The question lingers in the air, unanswered, as the minutes stretch into what feels like an eternity. And then, as the medical team begins to prepare Garcia for transport, a shocking twist unfolds. One of the team members, a doctor who's been monitoring the situation, whispers something to the referee. The camera cuts to the ring, capturing the exchange. The referee's expression shifts from concern to something more grave, something that sends a ripple of tension through the crowd. What's going on? The atmosphere has turned from tense to ominous in the blink of an eye. Gausha, sensing the shift, takes a step forward, his body still tense from the adrenaline of the fight. His eyes lock onto Garcia, but now there's something different in the younger fighter's gaze. It's not fear. It's something more calculating. A flicker of realization dawns in Gausha's mind, a realization that sends a chill down his spine. Could this have been part of the plan all along? Just as the medical team prepares to remove Garcia from the ring, the young fighter suddenly pushes them away. He rises, unsteady on his feet, but determined. There's something in the air, something shifting. Gausha watches in disbelief as Garcia steps back into the center of the ring, ready to continue. The crowd erupts in confusion, but Garcia's body language says it all. He's not finished yet. In that moment, the fight takes on a new dimension. This is no longer just about boxing. This is about something deeper, something neither fighter could have anticipated. As Garcia takes his stance, Gausha knows that this fight has just become something far more dangerous. Whatever Garcia's plan is, it's clear that the young man isn't going down without a fight, no matter the cost. The ring has become a battleground for something far beyond the physical. And as the final bell draws nearer, both men know that their destinies will be forever changed by what happens next. The tension in the arena is unbearable. The crowd's energy shifts from confusion to excitement as Garcia, despite the odds, refuses to step down. He moves with an unsettling calmness, his eyes locked onto Gausha as if daring the veteran to make the first move. The referee hesitates, unsure of how to proceed, but the decision is clear: Garcia will continue. The bell rings again, signaling the beginning of a new phase of this battle, but now the stakes are even higher. Gausha knows something is wrong. Something more than just the fight itself is at play. But he's a fighter. He has no choice but to push forward. Gausha, still catching his breath, takes a step toward Garcia, but this time he's more cautious. His instincts scream at him to be careful. This is no longer a simple clash of skill, but a test of willpower. Garcia, still shaking from whatever had gripped him moments ago, begins to press forward with an aggression that almost seems unnatural. He moves faster than before, his punches landing with an almost mechanical precision. Gausha can barely keep up. Every jab, every hook feels like a weight pushing him further into a corner. Yet, Gausha's experience shows. He dodges, he counters, he weathers the storm. But Garcia's relentless assault feels like something new, something more unpredictable than Gausha has ever encountered. Then it happens. In the middle of a fierce exchange, as Garcia charges forward with a wild right hook, Gausha sidesteps. He moves just a fraction of a second ahead, and Garcia's punch misses, leaving the young fighter vulnerable. In that split moment, Gausha's training kicks in. His fist connects with Garcia's jaw, sending the younger fighter stumbling back. The crowd roars as Garcia hits the canvas, his body crumpling to the mat. For a heartbeat, everything goes silent. The referee begins the count. Garcia doesn't move. Gausha, standing over his opponent, feels a surge of triumph, but it's short-lived. Something deep within him knows this isn't over. As the referee reaches the count of 7, Garcia stirs. It's a slow, painful movement, but Garcia isn't finished yet. His eyes flicker with a defiance that seems impossible after everything he's endured. With one last push of strength, Garcia pulls himself up from the canvas, his legs shaky but determined. The fight has become something else, entirely more than just two fighters battling for victory. It's about proving something that goes beyond the sport. The final moments of the fight are a blur of speed and power. Gausha, drained and battered, faces Garcia, who, despite the odds, is not backing down. They exchange blow after blow, both fighters seemingly operating on instinct now. The crowd is on their feet, torn between disbelief and awe. Garcia, somehow, is fighting with a new sense of purpose. His punches land with deadly accuracy, and Gausha, though experienced, is being pushed to his limits. Just when it seems like Garcia might find a way to land the final blow, Gausha's veteran instincts take over. With a brilliant counter, Gausha steps back and catches Garcia with a perfectly timed uppercut. Garcia's eyes go wide for a split second before his body slumps forward. The crowd falls silent once again, the shock settling in as the referee calls the fight. Garcia doesn't get back up. Gausha, breathing heavily, stands victorious, but even he knows that something extraordinary has just transpired in the ring. The aftermath is quiet. The crowd still buzzes with excitement, but the energy feels different. Gausha's victory is undeniable, but there's a sense of something missing, something unresolved. As he stands in the center of the ring, the weight of the moment presses down on him. He knows that this fight, this particular battle, has changed him. He looks down at Garcia, who is now being helped to his feet, his body weak but his spirit unbroken. Garcia may have lost the fight, but there's something about his resilience, his refusal to give up, that sticks with Gausha. In that moment, Gausha realizes that Garcia, in a way, has already won. As Gausha raises his hands in victory, the crowd erupts in applause. But it's a different kind of applause, one born of respect. The fans are not just cheering for the fighter who won, but for the fighter who endured. Gausha knows that this win, while important, isn't what defines him anymore. It's the journey, the struggle, and the respect earned in the ring that truly matter. But then, in a final twist, the announcer's voice cuts through the noise, announcing that Garcia's fight isn't over. There's murmuring in the crowd as the words sink in. The medical staff, after further examination, have found something that could change everything. Garcia has suffered no physical injury, and despite his collapse, he is fit to fight again. The crowd, stunned into silence, watches as Garcia, now with a new sense of clarity in his eyes, steps forward, looking Gausha straight in the face. Gausha's expression softens. What he had seen as a defeat now seems like the beginning of something greater, a new chapter for both of them. This wasn't just a fight between two men. It was the beginning of a rivalry, one that would span years, one that would elevate both fighters to levels they hadn't dreamed of before. As Gausha exits the ring, he knows this fight won't be the last. The story isn't finished. The battle may be over, but the war between these two fighters is only beginning. Both men, in their own way, have found what they were searching for in that ring's strength, resilience, and the true meaning of victory. The audience watches, knowing that the next time these two meet, it will be a fight for the ages.